I now hand the conference over to Mr. Prasenjit Bhuiya from Ambit Capital. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Faizan. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining Chemcon's CQ FY21 conference call. We have today with us management of Chemcon, represented by Mr. Kamal Agarwal, Managing Director, and Mr. Rajesh Gandhi, CFO. We will start with brief update on the business, followed by Q&A. I invite now Mr. Kamal Agarwal for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Prashant. Good noon to everybody. On behalf of Chemcon Specialty Chemicals Limited, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone for joining us on our earnings call today. On this call, we are joined with Mr. Rajesh Gandhi, who is the CFO, and we have SGA as our investor relation advisor. Since some of you may be hearing us for the first time today, we'll give you a quick snapshot on our company and then we'll walk through the operational and financial performances. We are manufacturers of specialized chemicals such as HMDS, that is hexamethyl disilazine, and CMIC, that is chloromethyl isopropyl carbonate, which are mostly used in pharmaceuticals. We categorize both of them as specialty chemicals for the pharmaceutical industry. HMDS is primarily used in pharmaceutical. It is also used in semiconductor industries, and it is principally for organic synthesis. As per calendar year 19, we were only the manufacturers of HMDS in India and third largest manufacturers of HMDS in the world. Globally, our market share would be between 10 to 11% of the global production. HMDS business has fairly performed well for the quarter. It contributes around 51% of our total revenue, of which 82% is contributed from the domestic market and around 18% is contributed from the exports. We are looking forward for the new applications opportunities of HMDS. Our high purity HMDS facility is in trial run for some end applications. We have also initiated the supplies of high purity HMDS in smaller volumes as an educative order. Although it may not commercialize immediately due to high gestation period, but surely it will fructify in the coming quarters. CMIC, the chloromethyl isopropyl carbonate, is an antiviral drug intermediate product, which is a key intermediate for the anti-AIDS and anti-hepatitis B drug, which is tenofovir. Currently, we witness high demand for the product, not only in the domestic market, but also in the international market. There has been a huge volume growth coupled with better realization. As per CY19, we were the largest manufacturers of CMIC in India and second largest in the world in terms of production and capacity. During the current calendar year, we shall become the largest manufacturers of the world. I would like to update you, yes, we have done volumes far beyond the largest producer's volume with the earlier data for the calendar year 21. CMIC has contributed around 36% of our total revenues. With equal share of domestic as well as export market. Globally, we have a market share of around 30% in terms of the productions for this product. We also produce inorganic bromides called calcium bromide, zinc bromide, sodium bromide, which are mainly used as completion fluids in the oil field industry, also known as oil well completion chemicals. These bromides are generally used in new oil well projects. As per CY19, we were the only manufacturers of zinc bromide and largest manufacturers of calcium bromide in India. In terms of production, globally, our market share would be around 3% in terms of production across all bromide capacities. Our oil well completion chemical segment has recovered during the quarter on back of rebound of the oil and gas industry expansion activities, which has partially negated our muted performance in H1 21. We faced shortage of bromine, which is one of the key raw materials for manufacture of bromide, and therefore had lower than the anticipated production. Although the global business environment is improving and evolving at the same time, we look forward for the improving demand in the range of bromides in the end market. Our manufacturing facilities are ISO certified facilities. They are at Manjusar, which is about 20 kilometers from Vadodara in the state of Gujarat. Currently, we have 7 operational plants within the state premises. We also have an in-house lab to test the raw materials procured as well as ongoing product testing, which are at the various stages of the manufacturing process. In addition to the operational plants, we have started construction work of 2 additional plants, plant number 8 and plant number 9. We call it as P8 and P9 within the enhanced premises of the manufacturing facility. The additional plants are to be used for the manufacturing of chemicals used in pharmaceutical industry in principle. Post completion of expansion plants, the total volumetric reactor capacity available to the company for processing would be around 625 KL. P8 and P9, the 2 plants, out of which P8 is expected to for the completion and initial commercialization of the same would be taking around 5 months from now, whereas plant number P9 is expected to go for the commercial production around 12 months. We supply products to countries like USA, Italy, South Korea, Germany, China, Japan, UAE, Serbia, Russia, Spain, Thailand and Malaysia. These are the countries wherein we have already supplied the products and we have our presence on regular basis. Both pharma chemicals and the oilfield chemicals, oilfield completion chemicals businesses has reported a decent performance during this quarter. There was an overall revenue growth of 16% in the top line and 25% volume growth on year-on-year basis. There has been meaningful demand in the pharma industry, which has evaluated our CMIC and HMDS chemicals business. Elevated our business. Our new chemical businesses post CBC has been successfully commercialized and has started contributing to the top line. Our endeavor is to shift to more value-added solutions, which will help to sustain our business and create new leap in growth. We foresee business momentum to continue on the back of the recent capacity expansions. New commercial products, robust demand in the pharma chemicals, and economic recovery of the oil well completion chemicals. The government has initiated PLI scheme, the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, which aims to promotion of manufacturing of critical key starting materials, that is KSM. Or the drug intermediates for the API industries in our country. We are likely to benefit indirectly on approval of penicillin products. HMDS and CMIC business realizations has varied throughout the quarter. However, our volumes are committed with our clients being their long-term partners. The margins are likely to remain as range bound. It is only the volumes that keeps on growing and adding on the returns to the company. I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Rajesh Gandhi, CFO, to take you to the financial performance walkthrough.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Good afternoon, everyone. Q3 FY21 has been a reasonable quarter for us as we continue to sustain a high growth trajectory from pharma chemicals and has witnessed demand recovery from bromide business we witnessed. Q3 FY21 total revenue for the quarter stood at Rs 64.8 crores, a growth of 16.3% on YOY basis. Domestic market contribute around 79%, whereas international market contribute around 21%. Production volume for Q3 FY21 was at 2,121 metric ton as compared to 1,698 metric ton same period last year, growth of 25%. This growth was on back of demand recovery in bromide production. Segment-wise revenue for Q3 FY21 are as follows. HMDS revenue stood at Rs 26.1 crore. CMIC revenue stood at Rs 25.3 crore. Oil well completion revenue stood at Rs 11.1 crore. EBITDA grew up by 70% to Rs 22.8 crores in Q3 FY21 on YOY basis. Net profit for the Q3 FY21 stood at Rs 16.5 crore at growth of 77%. 9-month FY21 total revenue for quarter stood at Rs 172 crores, a degrowth of 18.2% YOY basis. Delivery due to lower uptake of bromide business in H1 FY21, which has been partially negated by moderate business recovery in current quarter. Domestic market contributes around 71%, whereas international market contributes around 29%. Production volume for 9 months FY21 was at 4886 metric ton. Segment-wise revenue for 9 months FY21 are as follows. HMDS revenue stood at Rs 87 crores. CMIC revenue stood at Rs 62 crores. Oil well completion revenue stood at Rs 18 crores. EBITDA stood at Rs 16.3 crores in 9 months FY21, a growth by 6.3% on YOY basis. Net profit for the 9-month FY21 stood at Rs 40.9 crore, a growth of 4.7%. Total capital expenditure incurred for the 9 months 21 has been Rs 25 crores, of which is Rs 21 crore has been done through internal accrual and balance from IPO proceeds. Rs 4.3 crores has been utilized for expansion of manufacturing facilities, whereas Rs 40 crore has been incurred for working capital requirement. With this, I conclude the presentation and open the floor for further discussion.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Ankit Agarwal from ARC Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So I have a couple of questions. Starting with our new products, DHT and 4CBC. So, sir, I had a few questions on these. Sir, what is our current capacity for these two new products?
The DHT is 50 tons per month as first section, and 4CBC is 100 tons per month. That is 1200 and 600.
And what is the tentative market size for these two products?
Tentative market size for CBC is around 8,000 tons per year, 700 tons a month, and for DHT it is 2,500 tons per year, about 200 tons per month.
Okay, that's helpful. And sir, what is the competitive landscape for these products then?
4CBC is manufactured by a couple of other manufacturers in the country. 2,5-DHT is still to be manufactured. There are no competitors for that.
Okay. And what are the kind of revenue that we're expecting for this year, for the next year, that is FY22?
22, that will depend upon how it picks up the volume, because these are is a key intermediate, KSM. It is a key starting material or an important intermediate. The approval takes longer time. So I won't be able to give you guidelines on the revenues that are possibly that can be seen on this.
And as you said, they are KSM. So what are the end applications for this product then?
It is for airways, lamivudine particularly.
Okay, fine. So I have a couple of more questions. So on the HMDS purity, which has a total capacity of 600 metric tons, what are the industry that we're targeting apart from the pharma?
This will be particularly for the non-pharma applications. It will be for the semiconductor industry as well as the pharmaceutical rubber industry.
Okay, and how much are we expecting it to commercialize for the next year?
Next year, we are expecting around 300 tons of volume to get commercialized.
And that turns to how much revenue?
Revenue, you see, HMDS prices keeps on varying in the market, in the international market. It depends upon the raw material pricing. As the raw material prices moves up and down, similarly, the final product prices are moving up and down. So revenue cannot be assured or cannot be estimated on the basis of that. It can be, we work on the per kg input margins. So
right.
We principally work on that, and that sounds to be a good volume, value additions over there.
Okay, fine. And sir, one last set of questions. So last quarter we got approvals of 40 odd products. So have we finalized any product for commercialization of these products?
The CBC and DHT are part of that.
Okay, so these are the two ones that have got commercialized.
Yeah.
And any further capex that we are planning to do?
The plant 8 and 9 are under construction, P8 and P9, for which the IPO proceeds had been taken. Also, the internal accruals had been input. We have updated you about 25 crores of rupees has been already incurred towards the capex cost, and further it is ongoing. So
and this,
that will come up with the two new plants.
Okay, so and this capex is for the existing products or any new products?
It is for multi-purpose plants. We will be able to carry out the existing productions on that, as well as we can go ahead with multiple other products also.
Okay, fine, sir. That answers all my queries. Thanks a lot and best of luck for the future.
Always welcome, Ankit. Always welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Isha Savla from Arya Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. My first question is, I wanted to understand whether the price realization across all three businesses or it has fluctuated very much. And if it has fluctuated, then how are we dealing with it?
Ma'am, the product pricing has fluctuated to a certain extent. Say, for example, CMIC, the revenues or the sale price has gone up by more than 20%. However, there is no change, negligible change in the raw material costings or the production cost. However, the production cost has rather come down because of the higher volume. We have taken the volumes from 800 tons to a real-time productions of around 1700 tons. Is already been done in the last calendar year. So that growth has given us the cost benefits also, as well as the realization has increased. In respect to the other product, key product, that is HMDS, the prices have dropped to the tune of around 35%. However, the raw material cost has also dropped to the tune of around 35 to 40%. So ultimately, the value additions or the gross margins has remained consistent. The volume growth has given us the additional values.
Okay, sir. And I have one more question. When are we expecting to commercialize our P8 and P9 facilities, and which products are we expecting to launch there?
Ma'am, P8 we are expecting to commercialize within a period of 5 to 5.5 months from now. and P9 would take another about 12 months from now. The products we have already listed, which is 4-CBC 2,5-DHT expansions, CMIC expansions, and this will be the multi-product plant wherein we will be able to make these existing products as well as the new products for which we have got the permissions from Government of India.
Savla, do you have any more questions? Hello.
No, I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Savla.
Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one. The next question is from the line of Darshil Zaveri, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I just had a basic question. Where our quarterly revenues, quarterly profit has been around 15 to 16 crore. When can the company target 100?
When can the company target? Sorry, I'm not clear, Mr.
Operator, the current participant has left the question queue. Reminder to participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one. So can we move on to the next question? This is the operator, so can we move on to the next question?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Shah from Ace Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. So I have few questions. One would be, sir, in our HMD, did we see any benefit directly or indirectly through PLI scheme where our customers, have received approval and we may have received some inquiries?
Penicillin G was imported from China, most of the volumes, and India was not manufacturing that. Now, PLI scheme, Aurobindo has got the approvals on that. Aurobindo may be coming up with Penicillin G. So that will add on the volumes of the final product, that is Penicillin G based antibiotics. All the antibiotic manufacturers in the country are our regular customers, and including Aurobindo. So as the volumes will grow, there will be an additional volume requirement. So demand supply will be affected, and Chemcon will be benefited by having a larger market volumes.
Okay, sir. And in our bromide business, what is our current status? Of our business?
Current status for the bromide business, you see, it was expected that once the crude oil prices crosses $50 to $52, the flow of requirements should come in. That has anticipated, as it was anticipated, the things have started moving in the direction. We have started getting the demands, as well as we have also started getting the flow or the clearances for the pending orders we had. So the dispatches have been initiated, supplies have started. We have got the volume requirements now. So hope this will be getting recovered to most of the extent in the current quarter.
Okay. And sir, about our raw material, that is bromine, so how are we dealing with the shortage of this raw material?
We have obligatory contracts with our existing suppliers, and as their productions are coming up, we will be getting the materials. We have also put up the flow of imported materials. We have started doing that, and we are getting the raw materials from overseas to manufacture the final product.
So are we just relying on imports, or we also have domestic players for this raw material?
Major supplies are from the domestic players. We have just initiated the imports also.
Okay, we have initiated the okay. Sir, and my last question, what are the steps that we are taking to reduce our client concentration? Earlier, we had stated that we will find few new opportunities on existing products. So can you just share some color on it?
Client concentration for the particular two products, you see, all the Indian manufacturers or the users are my clients. So that concentration depends upon the volumes that we are manufacturing. The reduction of that concentrations are by way of exports only. We have created the export facilities. We have our team to take care of that, and we are working to export the products in overseas market. Thereby, that will help us reducing the concentration.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Amit.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Jigar Walia from OHM Group. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity. Just one question. Generally, what percentage of our HMDS business is catered to for Pen-G?
I don't have that segment-wise separation or the product-wise consumption of HMDS. I would like to just say that, okay, the total volumes what we produce as on date are nearly consumed for the pharmaceutical industry. I don't have the breakup on that.
Okay. The other segments, semiconductor or organic, would be the smaller pie and the larger one would be pharma entirely.
Yes, yes. Anytime it will be as volumes, if we consider, it will be like that.
And with regard to the capacity expansion also, it will continue to be that way.
Yeah, capacity expansions also will be in line with that.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jigar.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Darshil Zaveri, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, my line has got disconnected. Good afternoon. My question was, could you just give any revenue guidance and profit guidance for the next year?
I'm sorry, Darshil, it is too difficult to provide that guidance on revenue or on profits.
Could you give any targets that have been set out in 2-3 years, what we in a medium to long term?
Sorry to interrupt you. Request you to please use the handset mode.
Yeah, could you just give any target or something maybe that we want to achieve in 2-3 years or something like that? That would be very helpful.
I would say that, okay, we are targeting a growth of around 15% to 20% in HMDS and around 30% in CMIC. Plus, we will be adding few other products.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nitin Gandhi from KIFS Trade Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. But continuing the previous question, some aspiration, because you've done IPO and you're putting up plan P8, P9, and you must have some other roadmap. So ROE, ROC, some like 5 years vision or something if you can share, which enables us to keep tracking you and start understanding more how you propose to take this company forward as a promoter. Thank you.
Mr. Gandhi, this is two difficult questions to be answered. You see, the target of any promoter will always be a long vision to take the company to multiple levels compared to wherever you are. We consider we have a PAT size of around 50 to 60 crore, and within a couple of years we would like to take it to multiple fold. That is the only reason I could give you. We have always remained the leaders in whatever products we have manufactured. We will remain with all, even the new products that we will be adding on. That is the clear reason I can give you. Anything beyond this will be too difficult for me.
How does innovation and other thing, new product lineup for stacks, and what are the things in pipeline?
Innovation products, as you can see, even the DHT, it is not manufactured in the country by others. Similarly, we have other products in pipeline in development as well as under trial testing with the customers. They are all innovative. We do not have that products do not have other manufacturers in the country. So that sort of products only we would be entering. That is the key criteria or the key interest of the management.
Can we understand some size like 100 crore, 50 crore? What's the product size where you will enter? What could be the asset turnover or minimum margin which you will be looking forward to when you add a product?
When we add on a product, we consider less than a year's payback period for the capex that has been incurred. And we expect a top line of somewhere around 75 to 100 crores at least for the new product that has been added.
I missed your payback period. Sorry for that. Can you just repeat that?
The capex payback period we consider nearly less than a year.
Okay.
And we consider a revenue of around 75 to 100 crore size of volume based on the present pricing. That is what we target. We consider as product. We also consider that the said product, if other manufacturers are there in the domestic market, better to avoid that.
And can we say that you will be adding at least 2 products on a ongoing basis every year?
Can be said like that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Welcome, Mr. Gandhi.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Ankit Agarwal from ARC Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the follow-up. Sir, I just wanted to understand more about the competitive landscape in the businesses that we are in, the business verticals. So can you just elaborate more on that? Like who are our competitors, say in India and across the world?
Our competitors in India for the existing products are not much. We do not have competitors for HMDS. We have competitor for CMIC, that is Paushak Limited, a listed company, Alembic Group company, and we also have Anshul Chemicals, that is the Excel Group company. These are the other 2 manufacturers of CMIC. We don't consider them as competitors because there is a major volume production difference between the 2.
Okay.
They are nearly 15 to 20% each against our production. So,
okay.
But that is a competition available to us. For CMIC and HMDS, we do not have anything. HMDS, we have only the international competition from the Chinese in principle.
Okay, and how do you see these markets expanding? Like, do you see us taking more market share?
See, as the penicillin will be manufactured in India, naturally the market would be expanded.
Okay, and like what rate do we expect this to grow at? Like,
we carried out an industrial survey and we got a report that around 5.6% growth would be there. However, actual growth is much more compared to that. We can feel that when our sales is based on the import competition, there is a consumption of more than 5,000 tons. Our production is around 3,000 tons. There is a gap of 40% or more. So we have to fill in the gap. We just have to stop the Chinese entering the country.
Okay. Fine, sir. Understood, sir. That answers my question. Thanks a lot.
Welcome again.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Arpit Kapoor from IDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for answering. Most of the questions have been answered. Just on the new products, 4-CBC and 2.5 DHT, so if you can throw some more color, I guess it's written in the presentation that 4-CBC, the shipment supplied and there was the first sale that you executed in FY21, which is the current financial year. So if you can throw some more color into how the supplies have and in terms of product approval for both the products and in terms of potential sales opportunity for the next 2-3 years.
Apit, I have already updated on this that the 4CBC we have already initiated the supplies, commercial supplies. We have supplied around 45 tons of this product. There's a market size of around 700 tons per month in the country. Our production capacities are about 100 tons. So that is where we can see, okay, it is a entry barrier pole position. We are overcoming that. That will take couple of months. We will be able to throw the product in the market commercially. There should not be any problem. In respect to 2,5-DHT, again, it is a key starting material for the lamivudine. It is part of the molecule. So it requires a lot of approvals and it requires a lot of stability studies, which is a time-consuming factor. The said things have already been initiated since more than 4 months. And we hope there is a market size of 2,500 tons. Against a very 25% of that would be our production. It is not a bigger one. So entering or penetrating the market, and you see with no domestic competition, the product we should be able to deliver to the market with an ease. However, yes, the approval time has to be taken care of. That bypassing that time is ruled out, being the key starting materials. So the field of application is open, the demands are open, it is only the time factor.
So just for on the 2.5 DHT, so our production has stabilized to that extent, and so are we in the process of getting it approved with various pharma companies, or we are still to approach that process?
No, we are in the process of getting it approved.
Okay. And typically, let's say when we start a new product for any pharma company, does it also involve plant inspection, or given our past relationship that may not be required?
It 100% involves the plant inspection.
Okay. Sure. So we are hopeful that we may get, let's say, some approvals in the following in fiscal 22.
Yes, sure.
Okay. And then we will see a gradual ramp up depending upon how the acceptability of our product vis-a-vis, let's say, because there are multiple companies which are making this ARV drug that you're talking about.
Right.
So then we would be approaching to most of these guys in that case.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Sure. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Nitin Gandhi from KIFS Trade Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question again. Just trying to understand that our lead product HMDS has 51% contribution. What is our strength, and what makes other not to try this product, though it is almost a substantial earner for you and no competition is setting up, and maybe some people have tried and the reason for their failures, and what makes you feel that whatever Chinese import is there, that still you can grab the market? Thanks.
This is one of the key products that has been manufactured by Chemcon. And since we started with 4 tons per month of this product, today we are working on with more than 300 tons nearly of the productions per month. We have multiplied the production, real-time productions, not only the capacities, to the tune of 70 to 80 times. The product has become too big for a small-scale industry, and it is too small for a large industry. We are stuck up in between. The product is stuck up in between like that. The crux of the product, yes, it is the technological involvement. It is the key engineering that has driven the product, taken the efficiencies to a better extent. Putting up the plant to manufacture this product on a small scale is ruled out to achieve the efficiencies and hence the competitiveness. Entry barriers, if you go through the documents, you can see entry barriers for the customers. Well, this is an important chemical as far as the products are concerned. Any deviations can result into problematic effect. maybe commercially or maybe even product quality-wise to the pharmaceutical industry. So changing the suppliers requires a lot of approvals for the regulatory market. So this sort of entry barriers lies there. These are high processing risk chemicals. Major skills in handling of the raw materials and the products that are crucial. So that is not only a technical skill, but it requires even a long-term practicing of the skills. Chemcon, the team, we have the skills, educated, matured skills of more than 2 decades. So that is the key area. And most of the people, we had 7 other industries in our country manufacturing this product, including Ranbaxy and Orchid Chemicals, indirectly Aurobindo. Today, the in-house manufacturing is only by Lupin. That to a partial volumes, balance of volumes they are getting from us. I don't know, the competitor cannot be stopped, yes. Anybody can come up, but since more than a decade, we are in the position of enjoying a monopoly position, controlling the things, controlling the market. We are being controlled by Chinese, or we play hand in hand with Chinese and handle the market, domestic market.
Thanks for a long, passionate answer. What will be in-house manufacturing of Lupin? Any estimate?
In-house, you see, they require it for 2 different qualities. Lupin is using it for cephaloxime, and there is an intermediate called 7-ADCA. So they manufacture the product for 7-ADCA, which is a very low, around 45% purity product. They do not manufacture good quality product, 99% or heavy high purity, for which is required for cephaloxime. So all that volume for cephaloxime are being supplied by us.
Okay.
So a low purity intermediate stage that they manufacture and use it in-house. It is not a fallible product.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Welcome, Nitin.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Prasenjit Bhuya from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
One question on the bromide. So your bromide volumes have picked up this quarter, but was there any impact on bromide volume due to lack of raw material or raw material challenges?
I'm not clear on this, Prasenjit.
Sir, I am asking whether there was any impact on the volume offtake of bromide due to raw material challenges this quarter.
No, raw material availability has not impacted the volume productions or the shipments or dispatches in this quarter. We had enough raw material. We have enough raw material to take care of the next couple of months. And it is only the market pickup which has started pushing up the material.
And sir, maybe from this quarter, can we expect close to your earlier quarterly level volumes of close to 1 million tons of volumes per quarter for bromide, given the uptake?
No, not close to that. Maybe around 60 to 70% of that volumes we will be able to recover in the current quarter also.
Okay. And sir, how has been your working capital in terms of receivables for the 9 months of FY21?
Working capital receivables, Rajesh, we have the figure. What are the receivables?
85 crores. 85 crores.
85 crore is the receivable.
Okay. And sir, for CMIC, the outlook in general has been very positive in the last few months. So, I mean, going ahead for next 1 or 2 years, how do you see the offtake and how the end products like tenofovir are doing for CMIC?
I don't know for the tenofovir, with the orders and with the discussions with our customers, with increase of their production volumes as they have targeted or they are moving in, we have also got the plans to increase our production capacities or even the real-time productions by 30% in FY22.
Okay. And realizations are also kind of stable.
Realizations are stable to on an increasing mode.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you. Friends, India is currently a net importer of both HMDS and CMIC with about 40% and 62% respectively. Hence, there is an ample room for import substitution. Our bromide business is showing sign of recovery led by few projects in oil industry. With our new capacity expansion and technical expertise, we are well equipped to garner this opportunity. We are looking forward to penetrating new clients and bringing in more value additions for them. New products, new end applications, opportunity with the existing products, new capacity expansion, new geographic markets, and ongoing cost efficiencies are going to be the growth lever for our organization. With this, I conclude the call. If you have any further queries, please contact SGA, our investor relation advisor. Thank you everyone for joining us today on this earnings call.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Ambit Capital, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Thanks.